Hello, everyone. Welcome to the market simulation call for summer 2021 release. My name is Anshuman Vaidya. I'm your market simulation coordinator, and today is June 7, 2021. Calls and webinars are recorded for stakeholder convenience, allowing those who are unable to attend to listen to the recordings after the meetings. The recordings will be publicly available on the ISO webpage for a limited time following the meetings. The recordings and any related transcription should not be reprinted without the ISO permission. We'll go through the following agenda today. We'll talk about map stage availability, talk about the market simulation initiatives and timeline for summer 2021. We'll talk about the initiatives separately. We will also talk about some known issues that we have noticed on the system. A quick reminder about the system interfaces changes that are coming with summer 2021, and then we'll talk about next steps. You can get up-to-date map stage availability information on portalmap.kaiso.com. Currently, we have 2 map stage scheduled maintenance for Cyber UI and API on 6/11 and OMS UI and API from 6/10 to 6/14. Any questions regarding the map stage availability? All right, moving on. This is the market simulation timeline for summer 2021. We just completed phase 2 for summer readiness last week and a rerun of quarter 831 project scenarios on 6.3 and 6.4. Any questions regarding the market simulation initiatives and timelines or any concerns?
Hi, Anshuman, this is Chunyu. Can you hear me?
Hi, Chunyu. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, no concerns. I just want to confirm that this whole week it's available for re-executing any phase 2 scenarios if we, especially for some of the entities. So it is open and it's you're going to have the conditions trigger and it's available to us. Just want to make sure.
That is correct, Chunyu. We plan to create tight system conditions throughout the week from noon to 5 p.m. as we had done in market simulation. We do plan to settle only 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, but we will create the conditions throughout the week.
Wait, you're not going to settle today?
We are not planning to do so, Chunyu. Do you have a request to settle?
Yeah, so we just request for the reliability curtailment, and we will need to see that through the settlements as well. I understand that condition has been triggered, but we need to be able to see that in the settlement process.
I see. Is there a way that we could redo this testing tomorrow also?
I have to talk with our SMEs. I thought that was the understanding. The settlement is going to publish for the 7th, since we lose so many days last week.
I mean, the system was available, but and we were settling also, but I can see your point that our code was not, or we got CRB approval by 6.3 and 6.4, so I understand that. But we were settling 3 days, 6.2, 3, and 4 last week. But again, if you really need, if market participants need to settle this day, I'll have to talk to my team internally to see what we can do here.
Anshuman, this is Josh over. Sorry, this is Josh over at PG&E. I'm sorry, but I take a little offense at the statement you just made regarding how you say the system was available, but you didn't have the code in place. My understanding, and I'm sorry I was out a few days last week for medical purposes, but my understanding is that you did not get clearance from your quality review board to release the code for for actual use until the 4th. That indicates that, at least from the settlement side of things and from the make whole payment side, any day up to that point was lost and wasted. And the 4th is not a scheduled settlement date. It was, I believe, the Friday. You were only supposed to settle the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. So the 4th, when you loaded the code to make it possible for us to do these tests in an appropriate environment with the necessary support, is not a settlement day. Last week was lost, at least from the settlement standpoint. I understand that other things like the RDRR stuff was able to be tested, and that's good. But from a settlement standpoint, and specific for the make whole payments for hourly block interties and reduced export hourly blocks, we lost last week. So I would actually appreciate if we could be precise in that, and please do not try to paper over our concerns with the talking points, okay? Because as of right now, I do not see a way that you can do a full end-to-end with settlement files published all the way through with the necessary code before June 15th. Because quite bluntly, if all you're doing is publishing the 8th and the 10th, those don't publish until after your go live date.
All right, Joshua. So I'm not sure if you're up to date with the settlements date that we were actually planning to settle. We are actually planning to settle 6-2, 6-3, and 6-4.
Great. So 6-4 will publish.
Yes, those were in our plan from last week.
Okay.
Now,
so
we did not receive. Okay, let me just add one more point of information. The code was there from the start of this week, last week. The only thing we were waiting was to validate the settlements results for our end-to-end testing. So I mean, the statement that you made that the code was not available, I would just like to mention that the code was available. We were just waiting for the settlement statements to validate our end-to-end cases.
Okay.
And that's why the QRB was moved, or the QRB approval was moved to 6-3 and 6-4. On 6-3, we did testing for scenario 2 for summer release. And on 6-4, we did scenario 1 and scenario 5.
Okay. So I apologize if I misunderstood. Does that mean we will get complete and accurate settlement statements for 6-3 and 6-4 this week?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, according to the number of business days, it needs to publish those dates, but you will get settlement statements for 6-2, 6-3, and 6-4. We designed it that way so that you get the settlement statement before this functionality goes live.
Okay. I apologize then for misunderstanding. I was looking at a chain of emails that made it look like you were not able to get stuff in place. Okay. So then we will wait then, because it looks like the only test day that it succeeded from a scheduling standpoint was 6-4.
And Joshua, if I can add one more point, that is the reason we are not pushing to have additional settlements days this week, is because even if we do have more settlements days this week, they will not be published before the go live date.
Right. Which is unfortunate because one of the key tests that we discussed before all this, we were only able to get your support in testing today.
Are you talking about the ITC curtailments?
Yeah, yes, the curtailments for reliability purposes as done by a balancing authority area.
Sure. I mean, I can take that point and we can discuss it separate from the call to see what we can do to, fix it or, help you counter those concerns that you have.
Okay.
Yeah. So you were saying something?
Oh, yeah, I just saying that we haven't, so for June 4, we're able to maybe test one or two test cases, but remember we share the test cases with you guys. We have about quite a few. We haven't, because there wasn't any day ahead award. Even on the second, our Smiths already jumped in, putting in bids, but we did not receive any day ahead award. Therefore, some of the scenarios we're unable to carry out on the 4th. So we will, so what I mean is we still have quite a few test cases to execute.
And Tanya, definitely our team is here to support you in running those cases. We will do our best to set up these scenarios and help you complete all your unstructured cases that you need. And, we will make sure that our systems are available for your testing and the systems that conditions are generated. Whatever you need, basically. I mean, right. We can do settlement statements also. That is for tomorrow's trade date, but they won't be published until the go-live date. So that is one of the concerns.
Right, that is a concern. Are we going to actually have a discussion in this meeting?
I'll have to talk internally to see if we can settle today's date. And I'm sure even today's date is going to be settled after the go-live date, so I'm not sure how much it helps. But we can talk again.
Yeah, we can talk again, but the thing is, if we do not have the chance to, if the settlement statements is to come after the 15th, and we do not have the chance to review it, it is very hard for us to say, yeah, we support this go-live. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. And I might give you a call after this call to see what we can do to alleviate your concerns.
Thank you.
Thanks. One more point that I wanted to add was that we have received the code for RA Track 1 Phase 2 and Summer Readiness Phase 3. We are testing it internally, and we're performing end-to-end test cases this week to make sure that it is available on the requested date by next week. That is 6/14.
Hi, Ashman. This is Ray Khan from PG&E. So I have a question about that. The scheduled maintenance is for OMS for the UIs from the UI API is scheduled from the 10th to the 14th. Are you still planning to start the testing based on this slide on the 14th then, or are we shifting everything to the 15th? Just based on the stage scheduled maintenance.
So I believe that it should come back up by 14th. And if I open the maintenance window, I think we were just talking about OMS being down till 14th, but I hope that it will come up by 14th.
Okay, but if it doesn't come up, we're just going to shift it to the 15th, right?
Sure. I mean, if you really need OMS, I mean, you can put the outages beforehand for the future dates. But we will try to make sure that the OMS system is available on 14th.
When you say put it in for the future date, so that's scenario 3, right? The overlap. We can start putting it in now before the 10th.
For OMS outages, yes.
Okay, so that's the one that outage already started cannot be extended for scenario 3.
Yeah, I mean, we're not testing the structured scenarios. But you're right, that third scenario, let me go back and check. Probably we can, if the OMS is still not back up, we probably will not be able to test that particular scenario.
Okay, but eventually
we can pick that up again the next day on 15th.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for clarifying.
Sure. Okay, let me go back to the next slide. And does anybody have any more questions regarding the timelines? Okay, moving on. This is, again, a quick reminder of the scenarios that we ran through for RA enhancements track 1, phase 1, and phase 2 is upcoming, and summer readiness phase 1 and phase 2, which we completed last week, and the upcoming summer readiness phase 3, which we'll test the next week. Any questions regarding the scenario descriptions?
Hey, Anshuman, this is Isaac. Not so much the descriptions, but I have a question about scenario 5 on the RDR.
Go ahead, Isaac.
As you know, on Friday the 4th, we started getting these instructions via ADS, and we saw that we got the startup instructions for these resources. However, I don't think we got shutdown instructions for these resources. And the ADS query was down over the weekend until today, this morning. So when I run the ADS query, it does appear that the shutdown instruction shows up there, but via an API, we have two systems kind of querying against the KaiSo API, and neither system seems to have received that shutdown instruction.
You see the shutdown instructions in the UI, but not on the API.
So the ADS query tool show that. I wasn't online to actually receive the shutdown instructions to validate whether or not it was published via the UI, but in the ADS query tool, it's there. But none of our API calls seems to have caught those shutdowns. And I submitted a ticket on that.
Perfect. Let me review that ticket, Isaac, and work with my SMEs to get a response for that ASAP.
Sure. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions that we can talk about here? All right, moving on. So for FERC Order 831, we have completed the structured scenarios rerun on June 3rd and 4th. Before that, we performed the scenarios on May 25, 26, and 27. There is also a FERC Order 831 customer training on the release planning, or I'm sorry, on the ISO Learning Center that was published on 5/18. So you can go there and verify that customer training if you need to. Any questions that we can talk about for FERC Order 831?
Hi, Anshuman, this is Chen Yu. Yes, for FERC Order 831, it's still target to go live on the 15th, correct?
Yes, Chen Yu, that is correct.
Okay. And so our next call is a Thursday. Is it possible for KaiSo to let us know the overall test result and whether KaiSo it's going to approve the go live for the 15th?
Let me check when is our QRB for FERC 831, and let me get back to you. Unless somebody from KaiSo has that information right here on the call.
Chunyu, this is Adrian. We'll give you an update on Thursday. I can tell you our legal is as intent on knowing the certainty of this path also, because they want to inform FERC of our readiness for the 15. I think we still have a few things internally on the user acceptance testing to wrap up. And, hopefully by Thursday, we'll have more certainty and we can definitely inform you of the status by then.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian, for that
update. The last question I have for FERC Order 831 is that any outstanding issues that do we need to be aware?
So I have a slide for known issues, Tinu, and I think there are two for 831 issues that we are tracking. So let me get to that slide, and then I'll show you the issues.
Great, thank you.
All right. Any other concerns before we move on to the next one? Okay. For summer readiness 2021, we performed scenario 2 on trade day 6-3, and we performed scenario 5 and 1 on 6-4. We got a QRB approval for scenario 1 also, as this is new information for this call. We got QRB approval for scenario 1 last week, and we were able to run the scenario on 6-4. Any concerns regarding running of these structured scenarios for summer 2021 readiness? All right. Moving on. For RA enhancements track 1, we have changed the showing period back to 24 hours for market sim starting today. And production RACS was activated also today at 8 a.m. in the morning. Any questions regarding this project? All right, moving on. This is an OMS summer release timeline regarding the RAE track 1 project. And the production deployment date was 6-3 was also done. I'm sorry, there's a check mark missing there. And we are on track for the other items on this list. Any questions regarding this timeline? Right, moving on. So these are the 4 known issues that we are tracking currently internally. We have the defects associated with it that we are tracking internally. The first one for quarter 831 CMRI on versus off peak depths with different values. Another one is cyber bits being accepted above the appropriate bit cap. Then we have two issues for OSS and CMRI for the RA enhancements project. Work under supply, infeasibility, and enforced constraint report deactivation timestamp. And then for CMRI, effective SOC limits, API request does not have resource ID. And there's a defect number for it. I don't have the ETA column right now. I plan to add it in the next Thursday's meeting to show when we will receive fixes for these particular known issues. Any questions regarding these known issues?
Yeah, Anshuman, this is Chunyu. So for the first 831 one, especially the second one, is that sounds like it's a more important issue? Do you think that it is going to be fixed before the 15th? I know you don't have the ETA as right now, but in general, in general guidelines, is that is expected to be fixed before the June 15th, correct?
Right. That should be the target.
Correct.
And
this is Adrian. Yeah, we obviously cannot go in production with that kind of defect, so we are working to resolve that in time.
Thanks, Adrian.
Hello, this is Emmy Stenstedt from Midway Sunset. Will we have a chance, when you do fix it, will it go into map such that we can test against it?
Let me ask my SME here, Kevin. Kevin, what do you think? Kevin, are you on the call? I can't hear you.
Well, if we could get, or at least request a setup so that we could test against it once it is fixed, that would be very helpful.
Definitely. I mean, let me get back with my team. Sure. let me get back with my team internally and see when we can fix this, what's the ETA for it, and after the ETA, if it can be tested for the market participants. So let me get more details on that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Anshuman, we are second that. We also would like to retest that before you go live. Thank you.
Sounds good to me. Thanks. Any other questions regarding these node issues? All right. Moving on. This is a quick reminder about the system interface changes. Let me try. Do you have any update about the system interface changes?
Sure. So the update here is for the second item from the bottom. So we do have for DR LPA, so the demand responsible report adjustment, the MRIS tech spec was published today and has the additional information in that tech spec on the dev site for submitting that data for those changes. So I encourage you to review those, and then we will also likely mention that at the TUG tomorrow, and we'll be happy to take any questions on that. We don't have the schedule for the map stage and production environments yet, but that will be forthcoming.
Thank you, Trang, for the update. Any questions regarding the system interface changes? Okay, moving on. Well, that's all I had for today's web conference. Thank you, everyone, for joining. The next teleconference is on June 10 at 2 p.m. Actually, I'll open up for any questions if you have other than these projects, any feeder tickets that I can help with. All right, well, thank you everyone for joining. We'll see you back again on June 10th.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.